is just all you gotta do 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 is just
Yes.
Whoa.
Wow, dude.
Whoa. That's so, I'm so awake now.
Every time we start playing that, I'm like, all right, let's go. And then it starts playing, and I'm like, oh, so good. That's great.
Are you wearing a shirt? Are you?
I never wear shirts. What are you talking about?
What's going on? Are you turning into a corporate beast?
I'm having a bit of a
This is
just
crazy.
reanalysis, I think, of how we can better position ourselves as a legitimate organization over here. You know, why not? We can make a little fun with a little pain with the pleasure, kind of. Yeah, why not?
Do I have to start wearing a suit?
You do whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah.
I can be the business in the front and you're the party in the back, you know? That's fine.
Oh, I love a party in the back.
Yep. Yep.
Let's go. What are we doing? What are we talking about today?
So it's really funny because like 2 minutes before we started this, I was like, what are we talking about? We're like, we don't have any notes. We're like, we'll just riff. And that's what we're doing. It's going to be one of those. But it's cool because we've got so much going on. There's plenty to riff about.
Yeah.
Plenty.
How's your week, dude?
I feel a little behind. I will say.
Behind.
I realize why that
party in the back over here. I can get behind that.
I feel a little behind. It's kind of medium size.
I wondered what that was. Ooh.
So I'm going camping tonight. I had a meetup last night, 2-hour drive each way, and I'm going camping for the weekend with Carson. And when I get back, I've got Monday to get ready to go to Chicago and Japan. And I'm like, I don't feel at all like, where's my passport at? I think it's over here. So I feel a little bit behind, but I do feel like I feel like it's kind of a natural progression of stuff. And I've been working on my talk, I've been working on the demo, and that I feel totally comfortable with. I got to practice that a bit last night. for Chicago. We just talked about trimming out some of the stuff for Japan, and we've got some time to set up for that. And then the London, Laravel Live London, is a couple weeks after that, and that's going to be a good one too, I think. And what's cool is like there's so many things now. The core technology is so like jump on this as hard as you want to, that you can just build out whatever you're really looking to build out on top of it. So we can put together so many different kinds of demos. It's just like for this audience, what's going to be the best, biggest appeal in our opinion, and we can just whip it out in a couple days and be good with it. So exciting.
Yeah, you've gone straight into it.
Yep.
So are you prepped for Japan? Have you got like, do you need to do visas or anything? Have you got any?
We don't need visas.
You're all sorted.
There's nothing to sort.
Oh yeah, like America owns Japan, right? That's
I guess I don't really like. I
think
keep like
that's what it
Googling.
is.
I'm like, do I need anything? I did see like a message pop up from Discord the other day that's like, oh, make sure you read through this doc of like things you need to do to prepare to travel to Japan. And then I clicked on it and it was gone and I couldn't find it. So I'm like,
It'll be
figure
fine.
it out when I get there. What are they gonna do? Kick
Just
me out
do
of
what
their
you did when
country?
you went to India, where you were saying the other day,
Which
like
was?
just wait around, be really patient and friendly, and then they'll just like,
You're fine.
you've
Yeah.
been, just go through. It's fine.
Yeah. Wear a nice shirt, you know. Be really respectful. Like that's you're visiting somebody else's home, right? So just be respectful and don't speak when spoken to, kind of thing, and all that good stuff.
Especially in Japan, like it's
respectful culture.
Not to suggest that any other country isn't, but they have a very strong culture.
There's plenty of disrespectful cultural countries out there. There's plenty. Not that any other country isn't. I'm not saying, well, come on now. The whole world is friendly and nice. I don't think so.
I've been to Japan before and I really like it. And I'm like, I want people to go to Japan and experience it, but you have to be good. Because if you're not good, I'm going to be really upset because I like Japan and I want to go back. So I want to keep going back to Japan.
Yeah,
I would live there, man. It's so nice. Honestly, you're going to love it so much.
So here's a question for you. Are you going to Japan and are you going to be able to come back home?
It was it would have been really touch and go up until like 2 days ago.
All right, so you
as
got
to whether I could get
away.
home. But yeah, I can come back and live in Spain again when I return.
That's good because you're not like a full citizen of Spain, so you have to have visas and stuff in place to come. If you leaving is one thing, coming back is another.
It would have been fine if it was like 4 months ago. Like when I went to India, it was fine. The problem is my 5-year temporary residency, which is like mandatory first step, ran out just after I got back from Amsterdam. Literally like the day before I got back from Amsterdam, it ran out. And I have a grace period, but that grace period is about to run out as well. So now I had to go through all the Spanish bureaucracy. Again, I had to visit like one of the government offices multiple times, print loads of paperwork. I had to get, look, a nice sheet of photos, up-to-date passport style photos, because they need to update all of the things, and then they take a piece of paper that I've handwritten stuff on and hand signed, and then someone types it all into a computer and they scan it into the computer, and then they give me a copy and they stamp it with a physical stamp. And then I have to wait 45 days. And it's so crazy. Like all this stuff around moving to another country is nuts.
Good thing you speak Spanish fluently and you can converse,
yes,
in real time without translators and all that.
Oui. Of course. I love Spanish as a language. It's great. No, I do. But I'm not good at that stuff at all. No, I had to pay somebody to help me.
The Spanish government that is actually actively about to approve or deny your
I love you. Please let me back into the country.
Buenos dias. Siempre.
My wife lives here. My dog lives here.
Te amo siempre.
They rely upon me. You have to let me back in. Don't do a Tom Hanks to me or whatever his name is.
Puni says, "Don't eat whatever you see." So I think that's just like close your
Good
eyes.
life advice. No.
Let's close your eyes and eat what you don't see. If you see it, you shouldn't eat it. Just close your eyes. Eat in the dark. You'll be fine.
Yes.
All right, you got really quiet on that. You're like
I'm
actually
trying to
contemplating some previous life decisions you've already made. And like, yeah, that's regretful.
It's not actually, the food there is amazing. Well, there was this one. I'll try and get. I can't remember where it was. Were we in Kyoto or Tokyo? Anyway, there was one noodle place that I went to. Did an incredible ramen.
A
but it
single
was like
noodle?
this,
One noodle place?
it was just a
You get
giant
one
noodle with a
noodle.
door.
Everyone
That was
eats
the
on-
restaurant.
Arr.
Yeah, it was really moldy. It was gross.
Let's get on the inside where it's still fresh.
Yeah. So there's huge bowl of noodles, like more noodles than you can eat in like one sitting as an ordinary person. And on the menu, it's like, what spice level do you want the noodles to
Oh,
be? And it
yeah.
ranges from like 1 to 1,000 or something stupid.
Whoa.
And I went, I don't know, maybe 10. 10 is fine. And the guy was like, in Japanese, are you sure? And I was like, I don't know what you said. Yes, 10.
Uh-oh.
And he comes out, and there's this
The spoon
bowl
is
of
melted.
beautifully smelling, like really hot noodles, and then this mound of chili powder on top, which is like
no.
10 spoonfuls,
Oh.
basically, of chili.
What if you would have said 1,000?
Oh my god, it was
For
so freaking
$12.99, you would
spicy.
put them out of business, I think.
The thing is, there's people, like actual people used to eating that level of spicy noodle, just like down the bench from us, just like way hotter than what I had, and they just 5 minutes done. Took me an hour, and I didn't finish it. Ridiculous. Yeah, even Indian spicy food wasn't as spicy as those noodles, honestly.
I don't
wanna
I
get
say I
into,
don't
like-
do spicy, but when we were with Savan in India, and Harris and you and I went out with Savan that last night and ate, and he's
That
like,
was good.
"This is real." Whatever it was. Remember what was the Puni? What's this? What's the hollow ball that you put the water into? What's that called? You like put the water in and then you just eat the whole thing, whatever that is. He'll tell us. And he was like, "This one's really spicy. Don't." And he went and got a special spicy one for us, and I put it in. It was like, it just tasted. I'm like, "You're lying. You're messing with my head. Like this is not true. This is like sweet. It was actually sweet." He's like, "No, this is really." And then Harris was like, "My mouth is on fire, but this is good." I'm like, I didn't. Maybe I adjusted. Maybe I don't know. Something was broken in the system. I don't know what it was.
It is some. It's not Papti chat. It was.
Wasn't chat.
No, you're right, but it was kind of. I can't remember. But now I'm looking at pictures of chat, and my mouth is watering.
Panipuri. Sonali said it. Panipuri.
That's it. Yeah.
They sell that at Costco. In my Costco.
It's not going to be the same.
No, it's not. I'm not going to try. Panipuri. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one.
Some that Savan said was spicy. Wasn't that spicy? Oh, who were we with? It was his son, Cherie, Harris, you and I, and Savan.
That was great.
I have great memories. That coconut curry and those meatballs that Puni and Sonali brought me out to, and that's matcha with strawberries. It was strawberry season in India. It was just such a good, all the food, man. I'm hungry. I'm going.
Okay. So, it's back. That's fine. Phew. I was nervous for a second there. I thought I was going to have to run it all by myself. We we haven't really even finished like what's happened this week. There's you said it, you mentioned it. You went somewhere yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You had a meetup. Tell us, where did you go?
Yeah, so PHP Upstate is what it's called. It is Upstate South Carolina. It is ran by Bogdan Karchenko, who works for
Internachi.
Internachi, which is boss man Chris. What the heck is his last name? It slipped my mind.
Morel.
Chris Morel, who I just saw in New York last week or a week and a half ago, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jason Beggs was there. Matt Stauffer was supposed to be there, but he was not. I think he got ill and didn't want to make or risk making the 3-hour drive. There was another guy, I can't remember his name. I've not met him before, but he spoke for 20 minutes or so on like his AI workflow. And he's worked for some big stuff. He used to work at Vimeo. He was like part of the team that introduced Flash or something like a long time ago in Vimeo. Wow. He's like, I think they got out of it or something around that. So it was good though. I got to practice a bit of my talk, and this is the first time that every other talk that we've done has been completely made just for that event. And so I feel like we're at a point with the tech that this one talk should be in various forms of it, but the same premise, the same basic premise should be the one talk that goes around. So it's practicing what I'm going to speak for the important parts of this. So like in Chicago next week, I'm speaking for 50 minutes. They gave me, he's like, how long is your talk? Half hour. I'm like, maybe 40 minutes. So I trimmed it down, just a couple of things that, not the important bits I stripped out and that kind of stuff. And so I got to practice. And yeah, I feel like it went good. It landed well with people. So like people were just like, when I'm explaining like the core tech of what we've done here, they're like, holy crap. And then showing the performance, showing the speed, showing the end result. And like, we're fully native now. And it's unreleased, but we're building in public. We need people to test. And, bunch of people followed me on Twitter from that talk. There was maybe 30 people there, 25 people, something like that. But it went well. It went good. I felt a little jittery at first, but after I started going on it, I felt, the nerves went away and I'm just going on my content. And so it was good. It felt good. There's a couple things I want to adjust in my slides for next week, but very minimal, whatever. It's, I feel comfortable about it. So I'm taking the same talk to Chicago. Parts of it will be in Tokyo. Parts of it will be in everywhere else. And I think that, with Laracon, we're not sure if we're speaking at Laracon, and it's kind of okay if we don't, because I would rather, like, we could do, it's not that I don't want to, we're just doing our own event, right?
Yep.
And we can do a 2-hour session, like have a full extended, like, let's talk to Claude the whole time. And let me ask your questions to Claude so we can give you like really in-depth analysis on everything. So, and I also take notes because I'm sure some things will come up in that'll be like, that's a great idea,
Yeah.
And it's nice because I feel like it's not me against the world. It's like, hey, my hands and my Claude tokens are used to build this thing out. But what's with the whole people, all the people like generating this together, like, let's all make this thing what we want it to be, So
yeah.
It's cool.
We absolutely should, like, the vibes is shaping up. We haven't had time to do some of the stuff that we said we were going to do the last few weeks around that, but we've got almost 50% of the tickets sold, and that's like,
that's good.
great.
We still have 2 months until more than 2 months until the show, which is great.
And we've got ideas for what we're going to do on the day. So a schedule is starting to come together, and we definitely need to make some time for native PHP specifically. And we absolutely can. And we should do like an extended slot and go into some detail on all of that stuff for sure. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Not a bad idea. I think that knowing Laracon crowd, I think the morning will actually be lighter in attendance than the afternoon, but you can't really tell because some people might be leaving in the afternoon and they can only attend in the morning, So I'm thinking like a 10:30 to 12:30 and then lunch after kind of thing.
A nice lazy hang that's not too too intense straight out of the gate will be
No,
good. But
no.
get our bit out of the way so everybody can get on with enjoying the day, because I'm sure they're there for us, but at the same time, it's like we don't want to labor everybody with just our stuff the whole time.
And also, again, that's 2+ months away. So like where we're at now, that's come together in the last just month or even just a few weeks. Where we're going to be in 2 months, there's going to be some more cool things that we'll be able to do, to demo, and it's going to be exciting. So I'm excited
Yeah.
for sure about that. But please buy tickets. Even if you can't go, please buy a ticket. That's what I keep telling everybody. Please. We're almost break even, but we haven't bought any food yet. So, and that's the expensive bit. So if you
I love
want to
that.
eat,
Great.
if you're not going to go, but you want other people to eat, if they go, buy a ticket. Everyone, please buy a ticket.
That's it. Sponsor everybody else's food. Oh,
Yes.
and sponsor. Like, you can just sponsor. You don't have to go if you've got some product or some company that you're trying to like get out in front of people. We'll happily shill your stuff on the day and before and after and all the things.
Do you mind posting a link to the prospectus?
Oh, that's a good
Because
idea.
we
Let's
made a
put that on.
public prospectus. So this is for anyone that wants to sponsor. You can just put your name and we'll make up a logo. Go to Stitch, go to Nana Banana and make a logo and we'll put it up there. No problem. Tickets are $130, but the lowest, the community tier of sponsorship is $250 and you get a free ticket. So it goes up from there. You get more tickets and it's like, we're just trying to raise the funds so that we're not losing our shirts basically on this pretty high risk event that we got, but it's going to be good either way.
Yeah, I mean, we either I guess we'll get to the point where we break even by the time we actually do the event. I'm hoping, but we're gonna make it a good event no matter what,
right?
And it's like it's a done deal from we put the deposit down for the venue and everything, so we're not,
we didn't put the
and we're not
deposit
getting
down.
that back.
We paid for
Yeah,
it.
okay, well, that
Not
was
even
the deposit. Basically, it was just like
Yeah.
you have to pay for it all up front.
Yeah.
So we've done that. So we've got the place. We're going to make them, everybody's in the same location. We've got some really cool people coming as well. I think we touched upon
special
this
guests,
last week, but we've got some good people.
So we've got
some speakers.
2 Laracon speakers that are already got tickets and they're going to be there. We probably could even talk to them about maybe doing a 10 or 15-minute talk about NativePHP. So or about whatever they want to, honestly, because they're
we could have a little panel. That would be quite
we shouldn't beat around the bush about these people. This is advertisement, like right. Laravel Daily himself, Pavlos, is excited to join us.
First time Laracon US speaker.
First time Laracon US speaker. Mary Perry is joining us. She was actually the first one to buy a ticket for the event. She's very excited about it. I spoke to her in New York. She said that she only gets notifications on Twitter from NativePHP. I think there's one other, but she's like, no, I really enjoy. She's like, my 5-year-old daughter comes up with ideas for apps all the time. We just use NativePHP and we just build stuff. And she's like, you guys have done amazing stuff here, and is very excited about it. There is a potential for Mr. Dan Heron to come and hang out for a bit. I believe he's going and he's invited. I've got to talk to him a bit more about it, but and then there's going to be some other people that
I'm going to drop one more name in an attempt to sort of cajole this person into coming along. They haven't committed 100%.
All right,
but they did say it's a possibility, and they're going to check in with their superior officers.
Elon Musk.
I don't think he has any superior officers, actually.
Right.
No, Aaron Francis. Aaron, if you're listening to this, you've been name dropped. You have to come to the vibes now.
Yep.
And I'm not joking. I have invited him and he didn't say no. So it was a firm maybe.
A firm maybe. I like that.
I'm working on. This is like,
well, they are a sponsor. They are the only sponsor we have at the moment. Mostly Technical sponsored, their official sponsor of the vibes. And so they've got an open invitation, either of them. him or Ian. I think Ian said he can't make it. He's got something else going on, but Aaron is a strong possible maybe. So, but now he's a yes because we're saying come
absolutely,
on.
like he's committed to it now.
Just come in for an hour or
We
two.
basically
See
forced
what we're
him into
doing,
it.
man. Come see what we're doing. I think you'll
We've
really like.
steamrolled him into it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Soz.
Little
Yeah.
pressures, that's how you make the rice make good.
Yeah, I mean, well, he needs to come so that we can show him how good native PHP really is, and then he can start building
Ooh.
all of his apps in native PHP.
Ooh, I don't know what this is or what I don't know what this means, but I like a good vocabulary sort of challenge here. So you want to try it first?
Friday
You want me to-
midday. It's Freitag middag borrel.
I would have said Fridag middag borrel.
It's Friday midday. I don't know what borrel is.
Claude does. ChatGPT does.
Tell me.
Translate.
That's good. I love a little quiz in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
Bring some more
Friday
random
afternoon
droplets
drinks.
of knowledge.
Borrow
There we
drinks.
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's often written as Vridag middag borrel as one word, or the slang abbreviation Vrimabo, Friday afternoon drinks.
So did you bring a drink, Michael? That's the big question, because it's not Friday afternoon drinks if you didn't bring a drink. I haven't got a drink this time. I've run out.
I
didn't have any beers in the fridge.
I've had 2 coffees and now some water.
So healthy. Yeah, so pronunciation I've completely butchered. But I was going to say, I think borrel is like someone trying to say beer after they've had a few beers. You're a borrel, mate.
Have a barrel.
Oh, let's have another barrel. A what?
A whole barrel.
Yes, exactly. Brilliant.
Do you guys want to see a demo? I've been making some really cool shit over here. Like it's been fun. I've been enjoying myself. In fact, I thought about like we could just make a feature on live stream.
Oh, let's do that.
You want to play around with some stuff?
Yeah, I love playing around with stuff.
What about the other people here? There's more people here.
That I'm in.
There's more people here. Does anybody else want to?
We don't need to worry about them. They're just here for
do
the
worry
ride.
about them. They're our audience. I want to take care of them. I want to make sure. I mean,
I love them, but I don't care what they think about all of this stuff.
Well, I do. I do care what they think about it. I mean,
I'm joking.
We're building it for them. He's had some vridag middag borrel,
Should I go? I'll go to the shop right now. It'll take me 10 minutes, but I'll buy myself some drinks just so that I can have this Friday afternoon.
Vrimabo. Online development says yes, it's demo time.
It didn't say yes. He went yeah like that. Well, it's demo time.
That's as exciting as that sounds. It's still 1 vote. So I think we need at least like 5.
No, I think that counts for at least 2. There's enthusiasm enough there for like 2 votes.
If
it was all caps with exclamation marks, then it would be like 5.
If enthusiasm counts double, we'd be retired by now. Because
I think you could do like all caps and exclamation points. You could do those little emojis on the YouTube, but wait, because I have it on the YouTube, so I'm not going to see them. Where are they? Where are we?
I'm in South Carolina.
No. I don't believe it. How do I get to there? It is. Let's see if we can see these coming through on the chat.
So
I can't see any yet. They should be floating up my screen, but they're not.
Any what? What are you talking about?
These little emojis. I want emojis.
Gotta go. See you soon. Pooney's out. So there's a negative one for demo. That's a negative one.
Shame. We got some caps. We got all caps demo.
Are you going in and logging in as these people and just writing these things because you want to see it?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I've just we don't actually have viewers. I just have lots of different bot accounts on YouTube.
I mean,
So,
nothing wrong with that.
yeah, it's not
I
illegal,
mean, you got to
right?
pay your bill somehow, right?
I mean, I'm gonna go with. We've got 4 or 5 yeses now, so
All right. Well, that was one from the same guy twice, so that you can't bullshit a bullshitter. Come on now.
online development. I, that is, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we have like 3 viewers, and 4 of them said yes, so that's pretty good odds, I think.
We got 1 emoji now.
All right. You did this? AEID? That's you. That's your alter ego. All right, let's do it. Let's get into it. You ready? Let me cue it up here. Let me cue it up. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. I think share my screen. You're gonna see the whole Riverside briefly. All right. So now I cannot see chat at all. And so if you guys are, you have to be my
I'll
interpreter.
read. I'll interrupt and whatever. I won't leave it till the end.
Okay. Give me one moment here.
Oh, I'm going to interrupt straight away with.
You just said you weren't going to.
No. I wasn't going to leave it to the end. Like I normally do is I keep quiet and you run through all of your demo stuff and then the questions are kind of outdated or people have moved on, but I'm going to interrupt you. So I'm going to interrupt straight away because Michael has said in an hour or so, we're officially launching our app. Mailing goes out to early adopters. It was still an awful lot of work, but NativePHP made it so much easier. Yeah,
That's
baby.
brilliant. That's brilliant. That's awesome. Good job. Congrats. And actually, I'll tell you, I prefer that you interrupt me with any relevant questions or comments. I instead of waiting to, because I could go on and on and on and on.
You
So I'd
really
rather
do. I mean, yes, I will.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna do. Can I set this so that the screen is a bit bigger? Is that?
I don't know. Can you?
I think I can.
All right. So we've done some demos here where we're
That's-
just kind of like showing the app itself,
hasn't
but
worked.
we haven't done anything. Should I wait?
Yeah, it's
can't
fine.
see.
Carry on now. I've sorted it.
We haven't we have not done a lot showing like the PHP behind it. We're just kind of been showing like this is cool stuff that you can do inside of the app, but let's show some PHP now. And so first of all, I want to start by showing just a very simple counter and like how this all sort of kind of works here. So funky colors and all that. And we can change those on the fly, but I want to show like this is the actual PHP that is creating this. So we have the class, the PHP class itself, and then we also have the markup, and I'll show you the markup here in a second. Something cool to show is that we do have hot reloading. So that is not 30 because I've got this set to now times the day of decade. So let's undo that. Now it should be 30. All right. So here's 30.
Dude, wait. That hot reloading was mad fast.
Sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. It's something I want to work on actually. And this is the way that this works, just so you know, there's no HTML, CSS, JavaScript, there's no Vite running, there's no HMR. It's nothing like that. We are the underlying core technologies, we're writing binary to a binary tree. Okay. So we're creating this binary and shared memory. And then when we detect changes with Watchman, we're just using a WebSocket to signal to the device that this is updated. Please update it. And it pulls in whatever updates. And so there's some work that I want to do there to make that like consistently quick, because I think it can actually get
Mhm.
faster, or like sometimes it's very fast, sometimes it's not, and I haven't gone down the road yet to figure out why, to explore that. So some of the reloads will be a little bit slower, but just bear with it for now. This is all like unreleased work in progress stuff. So, um, but yes, that time it
It's
was pretty quick.
it's already crazy good
I
that
know.
like it stayed on the
See that?
page. I think when you demoed it before, it wasn't. It would reset the entire view and
Yep. I did do some work on that. I did also want to show like an indicator, and on Android, there's also an indicator there. It's just a little like, refresh, whatever. So yeah. So we have like Livewire, right? Oh, public
Mhm.
count equals 0. Increment is a count plus plus, decrement count minus minus. We also have this nav title. So the way that this works, and I'm gonna do like a really, really like a much bigger demo of this. Might make sense to have this up here. Um, of like navigation components, and like when you have like a parent and how you can override the parent, and all that kind of stuff. But this also is like, this is the actual native Chrome here. So this should update, and it did. So
beautiful.
that's like part of the native, top bar.
Well,
And
this
then
is
we're
all native. No,
all
so
native. Well,
it's
yeah.
all just the
Yep.
same.
And then we render out this view, and if it's native.counter, we can just command click and go into it, and we've got some new adjustments, some things that we've changed just this week. We were doing native colon for everything. So this markup, it looks like HTML or Blade. It is technically Blade, but it's our Blade. Like these are our components that we've created. And these are interchangeable. So you can use native colon for everything if you want to. Some things you don't need them on. I chose for the icon to do that because I've also done some work on the icons. So when you take this away, you lose the type ahead for that, and that's something I want to work on, and maybe talk even to JetBrains about, figuring out some
Yeah.
way that they can parse these for us or something, and we'll figure that. But
They're looking at this template because it's called something.blade.php and going, this is Blade, and then looking for the colon, right, to
perhaps, or a dash, maybe
decide that
even.
this is like a
No, not even the dash.
okay. No,
Yeah,
it would be X dash icon, right? If it was a Blade component.
but even that, I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it does
yeah, it
work.
does. Yeah, yeah.
So maybe we could build something in for that, or ask them to. But either way,
Yeah, fine. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I think what actually you want to do there is that we have our own not blade.php. It would be like, I don't know, edge.php or something like
yeah,
that.
counter.edge.php,
And then just tell them like treat everything in here like it's a Blade component
yep.
rather than looking for the dash or the colon.
And it should be, I think it would be easier if you just know that file type is every element inside of that is like, you should be able to do this type of head stuff inside
Exactly.
of it.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Parsable PHP
Treat
kinda.
it all like Blade components.
So these are, and the naming of this might change. So this is material design. This is only going to show on Android, and this is SF is San Francisco. This is the iOS icon naming. I think that we should end up though with iOS and Android. I think for a Laravel developer, this reads better than.
But yeah, I agree.
It's just
agree with
not,
that.
that's not wired up now. So
Well, it's
again,
also like those UI, those are kind of references to their UI things, which could change over time.
correct.
Like
Yeah.
SF and material might go away at some point.
And then the other part of that is like, maybe somebody wants to make an icon pack that uses something else completely. They would have their own like Shane icon or something, and they could pass in whatever they want to for that includes their enums or their library, whatever they're wanting to do. All of this is extensible.
Cool.
And also it's all coming from a plugin. All of this is inside of a plugin. So we have our own native UI plugin, and that's how we're doing everything now moving forward, is all from plugins instead of baked into core, because we learned our lesson. Don't bake it into core. People might not use it and it bloats and blah, blah, blah. So you opt in, you opt out for it.
Yeah, I think that's wise.
But I think it's really cool. Pick a letter, A through Z.
P.
Pick one.
Phone. No, that's boring. Person
Yeah.
2.
There you go.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
It's
sort
very
of
fun.
transitioned the icon to the other one.
Yeah, and that wasn't like anything intentional that
You
I did
did.
to make that happen.
Oops, it just worked.
But it just worked that way because what I told Claude was like replace only that which changed, right? It's
Nice.
just patching
Yeah,
the diff. And so you end up with that.
that is really cool.
So you have a column, and columns, you can add press actions to that. And so this one's going to decrement. It's just going to call this function decrement.
Wait, that's not a button, but you're making it
You can
pressable.
make it a button, I think.
Is there a like semantic difference to that, like for
There are
assistive
some.
technologies and
Yeah,
things?
so here's the thing. So, buttons, the way that it currently is, and this all could change, and this is what we need people's eyes on. Buttons are the native buttons, okay?
Mm,
Um, and that's gonna be like the ripple effect, and there's even some ripple effect. In fact, you can see all of the buttons here. So you can see like there's a little bit of a, it changes that opacity or some effect when I click on this. You can add a
mhm.
tint to them, etc. Even this one kind of changes a bit. Those are these are native buttons. On Android, they render differently. It's got the ripple effect, like I said.
Mhm.
So that is a button. So the way that it is currently, a button means native button. However, you can make most things look like a button and act like a button and respond like a button and put press functions on a lot of things. You can have things that are pressable. They're just wrapped in this pressable. It's like its
Yeah.
own, pressable
Yeah.
element. So yeah,
Interesting.
some of that I want to work on more and flesh out more. Again, it's all about the API now. The core is solid. I feel like I've done a huge part to contribute in all that. And this part is where I need more other opinions on how these things should work, because there are some caveats that you have to compromise on. You can't just say all buttons should be able to do whatever I think it should do, because there are differences in this world that we have to account for. So um yeah, so we'll get there.
Cool.
um you can also see the classes here. Again, this is not real Tailwind. Let me go back into this one. It's fake Tailwind. Let's go back to Chevron down. We Because Tailwind is so well known, I can just parse this and say a shadow should equal, whatever, rounded, what, 2XL or something. What that should actually equal for this element, what that makes it. And
Mhm.
so that just passes that in, and you can do all sorts of stuff. So that means not everything is going to be supported on every element. Like
Yeah.
an icon, you can do text. I think I could do like text green 500 on the element itself, on the icon. Let's see if that works. Should. Yeah, that works. But not everything
So
works on everything.
just to be super clear, it looks like Tailwind, but it's not Tailwind.
Correct.
So there's going to be a bunch of Tailwind classes that you might be used to from Tailwind that don't work in this context
Yeah,
or
and
don't work
that's,
yet.
again, there's so many things there that we have to, number one, make sure are consistent between Android and iOS, if it does work on one or not on the other, because they're completely separate ways to
Mhm.
compile that stuff, and how they're picked up on each side.
Yeah.
And that comes back to like the plugin. The So like in iOS, we have all these different, here's the badge, for example, and this, you have to tell it what are the properties that you can pass in and how they're actually created, and it's totally
Mm.
different for, or could be totally different for Android. So you have to, yeah, there's some consistency to consider as well. That's why it's going to take a little bit longer. We're not like in a super rush to push this out, and everyone's like, when available? Like, this is years of work I'm trying to fit into like a few months, you know. And I want it to be really good and like less problems, or known problems at least, right off the bat, and not any surprises and all that stuff. So
John Coster has turned up. Welcome, John.
hello, John Coster. So let's do something else. Let's use like a native PHP plugin. We have a dialog facade. We can do toast, and we can say like this. Count.
Yeah, toast.
That should work. Give that a second to refresh. So now there you go. So these queue up. They're not instant. So that's
Yeah,
going to go to
that's
0, and then
the way that the toast
yep.
behavior currently
it's
works, which I actually think we should make more flexible, but that's a different
We
discussion.
should, yeah. I'm going to undo that because that's not a great experience there. But yeah, so that's like the basics. Let's go a little bit beyond the basics. Let's go to, this is, and I've shown this before, but let me show like the PHP behind it, buttons form. So let's go to this forms. Nope, not buttons forms. And I want to show this slider.
Yeah, we looked at the slider before.
We have looked at the slider. We didn't. Did we look at the code?
We maybe did.
Oh, well then we can skip this for better things.
I don't know. I don't know what you're going to show though. If it's
I was going to show basically just like how we have native model, and then .live, debounce 150 milliseconds, very Livewire, lots of influence from Caleb Porzio, the man himself, right? And then we have like native model.blur and calling different functions based on that. And then you're just binding this value, this slide blur value, into just like you would with Livewire, right? We just do this number format, and we're saying 1 decimal place or 3 decimal places or whatever it is.
Yeah, so we talked about all of this last week, but the thing that I think is worth reiterating there, like when you move the slider, the live one, and it's like updating in real time, is just how fast it's putting. Oh, it's the one at the top, isn't it, that updates in real time?
Yeah.
How fast it's running through PHP. So, and it's running through this Blade, our version of Blade essentially, and
back
processing that PHP code in here and then outputting that as a native value. So when you drag that top slider in the thing, and it's like immediately responding with the value as it's been computed. And that's happening in PHP, which is nuts.
All in PHP. And it's like every tick of this, every little bit of this round trips through PHP, which tells you how fast this has to be, because these ticks are like not even a millimeter.
There's a lot
right?
of them.
A lot of them. And that's something that I plan to do in the coming just couple days, probably even today, is start going back into benchmarking. I did some benchmarks at Laracon EU, but they were, there's so much that's changed with the underlying core. Those are like obsolete now, and I have to rethink and redo a lot of that stuff. But I'm excited to do that because numbers are fun for people that care about their clients, like those are important things to do.
It's maybe tricky to gauge, but do you have a sense of like, is this as fast, close to as fast, or faster than like React Native or anything else?
I do. Yeah. I would be shocked if there's any benchmark that we are not at least comparable in terms of benchmarking.
Wow.
Because of the way that this was put together. I mean, I spent 2 weeks alone just looking at memory leaks, CPU performance, and soak tests, just letting things run with things playing on the device, and just testing to make sure there's no anomalies or spikes, and found half dozen core issues that we refactored and worked around. So in addition to that, just knowing and understanding the way that they are performing and how they get the performance that they've got, and then also what we've done to do that, it's almost identical in terms of like architecture design. It's a shared memory location, and then we're doing and then these words, the mutex convar. So mutex, mutually exclusive. We're writing to one place in memory, and we're double buffering too. It's like that goes into the whole talk, and I don't want to spend 10 minutes on that part because I think I've discussed it a few times. But it is the same, principally it's the same mechanisms that make the Linux kernel tick and work, and the underlying core bits of how Linux operates in general, like at the core level, that all of these distributions have built on top of. We're doing the exact same thing. So
yeah, it's like how they make it fast is how we're making it fast.
Yep, at the same level. It's and it went really, really deep on learning all of this stuff that I didn't even know anything about 6 months ago. And I'm working towards expert level. Like, I don't think I'll be there anytime soon, but I want to be there. And it's interesting because like it changes my whole career trajectory, right? In working on this stuff, which is interesting.
I love this where you splice like the two sides of two completely different things together. We're bringing Laravel PHP into this fully native side. I think that's worth like iterating on again, reiterating, is how I think people would, even people in PHP, I was skeptical of this at the beginning, which is stupid because, why did I end up going down the path of even putting this together in the first place? I don't know. But there's that part of like, it feels like it shouldn't work with PHP because PHP is honed for the web and all of this kind of mentality that we've had for a very long time. And it is really good on the web, but there are still things, even in the context of web, where people go, well, actually, this is a slightly better tool for that specific problem that you're trying to solve instead of using PHP. And no, like, I feel like nobody wants to think about using PHP on a mobile device, but then everybody's coming at it with like PHP shouldn't be used on a mobile device. And then we're here doing it anyway. Like Aaron said last year at Laracon, like it's
Just
crazy. Yeah. And not only is it kind of working, it's working really, really, really well. Like, I'd be very surprised if we couldn't make this faster than the incumbents.
It's not just about speed too. And I think you and I both know this. And we've talked about this. We can talk about it. I think we said we would talk about this today. It's not just about performance. The way that PHP works is completely different than any other language that you could use on mobile as is. It is a request response lifecycle.
Yeah.
And it's an interpreted language. You send the request in, it does some stuff inside of your code and gives you back the response. It's not compiled ahead of time and has a known response type and all that stuff, which means if you could figure out a way, wink, wink, to change the code on the device at runtime, you can make very dynamic experiences for every user using your application. And that's where, I think 6 or 8 months ago, I had this like, if we can't do something different that nobody else can do, even if we can match performance and full native UI, et cetera, no one's going to really consider us. But if we can bring something brand new to the table that just because it is PHP, we're going to have a huge global spotlight on us on what we've done here. And so it's like, let's take the 6 months or a year to make the core strong. And then we didn't know that we would discover this along the way. we were just moving along and then discover this. It's like, hey, guess what? And you thought of this. You brought this up. You were like, you know what you can do, actually.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
from my point of view, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to use PHP to do this.
mm,
But like I said before, I was skeptical at the beginning because even I didn't think we'd manage to get this level of performance out of PHP. Honestly, I hoped that we would.
yeah, I didn't know.
But it's like until you go down the path, you don't actually
You don't
know
know.
whether you're going to be able to do it. And it turns out, with Claude and a bit of glue and some
Research.
persistence, yeah, exactly.
Like, what?
Then,
Just keep saying, why not though? Like,
yeah,
but why? But why?
yeah,
Why?
exactly. Why? The 5 whys or whatever, and you get to the answer, and it just it turns out to be so good. Like, I think actually it's because PHP has been baked in the web for so long. It's like the language, I say we, I mean the community at large, but essentially people who have worked on the core of PHP for over many years, have made it better and better and better and better on the server. Like there was the big leap up in performance that we had with version 7, and then there's been various further improvements in performance and more recent versions of PHP as well, have just made it so that it's just very good at looking at that raw file of PHP code, that just text file, and going, I need to read this and understand this really quickly, process whatever's going on inside, and finish. And we've basically leveraged that, but like shoved it right up against the metal and said, now just do this as fast as you can do it. And it's really freaking fast and it's crazy. And it makes it like all of this that you're doing. I know that under the hood, all of those actions are hitting PHP.
Yeah.
And it just to see it, like there's no hitching or whatever you want to call it. Like there's no glitching in the UI. It's not stuttering at all. It's nuts. And it's PHP. I mean, I'm sure like you could build if you did some crazy stuff in the UI thread whilst you were, interacting with
Well,
those
you have to
things,
think
then it
about
would.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can bork it. You can make it stuff. You can mess it up, sure.
Yeah.
But that's comes with the understanding of what you're doing. And this would be the same principle for anything. That's the same thing for React Native or even full native apps. You have to work in the
Exactly.
threads that you need to work in. You don't do background processing in your UI thread. You'll hang your UI every time.
Yep. Yep.
This one's pretty fun. I like this one. So this is like simulated
this is new.
mail. Yeah. So this question mark, it's because the simulator doesn't render emojis, but on the device it does.
Yeah.
But we have like this.
Oh.
And if I drag all the way over, it's just gonna flag it for me or unflag it.
Nice.
And then we can go this way as well.
Oh.
Pin. If I click on it, it's gonna mark this as red, but I can make it unread again if I want to.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. Or if I just delete it, it just pops it off the stack.
Can you, that one that's unread now at the top, can you swipe to the right? Okay, so that was the red one. But yeah, so mark that as unread. Okay, so now it's unread, and swipe right again on it. And now the buttons change. So it's fully like dynamic to the state of the thing as well.
So that's just in the PHP logic. So let's go into the mail demo. So this is, well, number one, this is a native list, and we have this refresh action that we can trigger on it. And so this makes it so that you can pull to refresh.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it just calls this refresh function that just does whatever. And so this one just adds an element to the array. So we have this list of emails, an array of emails. And so we're just adding one to the list when you use this. We also have separator true. If we change this to false, I think that takes away the the line between everything.
Mm-hmm.
Claude built all that.
Eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I would imagine that's what it's doing. It's also using the BG theme background. So that comes from the native. Again, this is a whole other part that we have to work on, but my phone's in light mode. So this BG theme background. So we have this background color. If I could change this to, I don't know, red, I think. That should change the whole thing. Nope, it didn't. Where is it that then? BG theme background. I don't know. Actually, that might not have triggered. No, it did trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's try a different one. It's got to be one of these. One of these. Nope, it wasn't that. Let's.
Is it surface? Is like it treating the list like a surface?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Nope.
Nope.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'll have to play with that some more. Let's go back and actually undo this one. It does still work here. So BG red 500. That should work. That'll actually tell if it's something else. Each one of these might be overriding it. Oh, it didn't. So that's actually, this is a false positive.
Oh, no, it's still reloading.
No, I did it again.
All right.
So take that off. And then if we go into, there's a class here. There should be a class here. There actually isn't a class here. Class equals, let's see. Yeah. So now if we make this theme, BG theme background, is that what that was?
Yeah.
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 Right. And so on background would be this color. That's what you're writing in. Did that trigger? No, it did, but it didn't update.
The text, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that there's still a lot of stuff to flesh out here. I mean, like you're sort of poking at these things.
That's really it. Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Just
yeah. Anyway, that wasn't part of the
so
demo anyway. Let's go back.
No, the bit this, I mean, this is quite a complex screen, right? Of the, you know, this list with all these different swipeable actions and animations and the different bits of state and all of it. But now it's all just in this blade file, which is driven by PHP. So like you could just pull all of this from the database, sync it to an API, whatever. It just all suddenly starts to feel very accessible, you know? Like now I can do this. I'm already thinking of things that I want to build with this now, because it's like I can do this without even having to think about how do I do this in other tools. Nice.
So that would make more sense if you just deleted all of these. It's still reloading.
Yeah.
Give that a second.
Well, just don't manually delete them.
Why not?
Can't you change the data, the source of the data?
No, well, I wanted it to come back when I do the refresh. So
okay. Yeah.
So now it's all clean. And then this line is off, which is interesting. I think that needs to be.
You're so picky.
No, you.
No.
I think this should be down here. But those have to then be. Oh, actually, maybe not. Let's see if that errors out. Oh, I have to delete them again. I'm not going to do it. But I want to see it. Let's see. Now that will fail because now we have 2 root elements.
We'll just delete the for each.
No, that was fine. That was fine. It was because actually why those lines were even there. They shouldn't have been there. They were inside of this nav list. The nav list has the separator true.
Right.
you could make this like if they're, what are the count of emails is greater than 0, if count emails.
Yeah, but yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's rendering fine as it is anyway. No, there's no separator when the list is empty.
And then this could go inside of it. Anyway, that's just PHP stuff. We don't have to worry about that.
This is the thing. It's like, that's what I'm saying. It sort of feels eminently composable now in
Yeah,
the way
now
that
you can play. You
I'm
feel like you can play
familiar
with it.
with. Yeah, which is really cool. So wait, all of this stuff, is this just running on your machine, or
Yeah.
can people start messing with it?
Oh, no. Yeah, it is on my machine, but you can just go to github.com/nativephp/super-native, and you can pull all this in and play with it. It's all available. It's all free. There's no restrictions. You get everything that's here.
Wait, say that again. github.com NativePHP super-native.
Super-native. Yep.
Okay.
I want to show more stuff though. We got a little
I'm just
time.
going to put that up so everybody can see it.
Thanks. The thing, another new thing I added this week was the menus, which I kind of was showing earlier.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice with the liquid glass. I know I like liquid glass. I don't know.
I do too. In fact, there's a buttons form. I'm gonna show you this. This is pretty fun. So let's go to buttons form, wherever that one is. This one. So if you go to the bottom of this one, we've got this. It's a stack, so we can stack things on top of each other inside of a stack. And then we have like, how do you want to render things? So I've just item center, justify center, H full, W full, whatever we've given to this. And so inside of that, we have a scroll view of an image. So this API definitely has to change. I think that there should be like a scroll view with a background, like a background image, like BG equals, that kind of thing. But it's just like making this as a background, an image inside of a scroll view right now is acting as a background.
But so you could actually just create a component that wraps those two components as you've already got here.
Yeah,
because
you can make your own. I mean, it's Blade. You can just make your own, whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
And so we've got this text that clearly is not liquid glass, right? But I've made my own class.
But it says that it is. It says liquid glass, baby.
We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. So we'll say glass. We're just gonna put glass on this. Now this is not gonna work in Android, obviously. Claude was suggesting like, let's make it like a frosted background. I'm like, no. Don't let, so you can see it kind of bending the light a bit back there, which is why I made it so that you could move this around so you could see that. It's not very clear, so let's make it clear. Notice how the image also doesn't change where it's at. It's still reloading, but there you go. Now we have clear liquid glass, which is pretty cool.
Will the text color change automatically? Like as you move over?
Yeah. In some cases it does. And that got a little bit strange. There's some work that needs to be done with that because it's supposed to, I feel, respond. But when you click on this, it also doesn't do anything, which it doesn't need to do anything, but it'd be cool if it did something. And so actually iOS has a modifier called interactive that just gives it a little bit of an interactive. Wait till that reloading goes away. I want to make that more prominent too. So if I click on it now, it kind of moves around a little bit, when you're doing stuff. So this is not a button. It's just a column with text inside of it. And then we added like rounded full text 2XL, font bold, MY64 to give it this internal padding, and text center and PX4, so the little padding on the sides, and very tailwindy. And now you have this liquid glass ability on top of it all. Is freaking really cool. Literal liquid glass. And then you can do stuff. This doesn't have the background, but I think if I do, I don't know how well this will actually render, but we'll try to put this card here instead. Let's see. I think I might need it here. Let's see. Not so much. Let me try a P. Y64 might do it. Yeah, cool. So this is glass and it's clear and it's got the BG red tint to whatever you put in here.
That's cool.
So we do have like different transparencies on that. Let's go like 80. So this is a good example of like this transparency right now only works on a card. I haven't added that support in all of the elements. You know what I mean? We have to build that or think to build it on different things. So it's kind of cool. I think it's really cool. It's also interactive.
It is
so it's
really
got
cool.
that. You see a little flicker here that only happens on a simulator. It doesn't happen on my device, by the way.
I'm really starting to feel like you could build some real apps with this.
Yeah, I know. There are things to consider. There's things like computed properties that we don't have, wire polling or native polling, you know, some niceties that we want to get to. There's also like, I haven't tested this fully with all of the plugins. So I want to play with like photo and camera, microphone, all that kind of stuff. And that I think is going to drive out some more of the API that we need to interface with.
I don't want to get into too much technical talk right now, but I would question if we need wire poll. I feel like that shouldn't be happening from the UI. Like, it depends what you're trying to achieve, but I feel like if we've got state somewhere and we've got a separate thread that's, you know, ready to do stuff, you probably don't need wire poll or something like wire poll.
What is happening? String. That's what I thought I was doing. I don't know. So I think this would be cool to poll so that it's like updating.
Yeah, I guess my point is if you're referencing some central state for that value rather than just rendering it out in the template like this, you know, if you're referencing a component property, then that component property is being updated from a separate thread anyway. That's like essentially on an infinite loop. Then that's polling. Maybe it becomes some syntactic sugar around that sort of primitive. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, and I shouldn't do that on this because it's not.
That's what we're here for. We are transparent. That's what we kind of do. I'm gonna show one more thing, and this is probably one of the things I'm most excited about. And I don't. Well, you stop me if I've already talked about it on the stream because I've talked in different scenarios.
I mean, don't carry on.
Well, actually, this is new. This one is new. Not this one, but this one. So I did show you this before. And this is in iOS, it's called an accessory. And when I scroll down, you can see it pops down into place. So this is like, I forget what the modifier is, but it's like something like shrink on scroll or minify on scroll or something like that. That allows this flexibility. And this, I don't want to even show the PHP because it's like, I haven't really even looked at it to play with it to see how it's really working yet. I just got this kind of working and it's like, oh, that's cool. But the search ability I did work on. So let's go into, which one is this? Native tabs. Yeah. So back to web. Native tabs. Cool. Native tabs home. All right. So inside of this, number one, we've got right now, when I click on profile, it hides that search bar or the search icon. So we have the ability for different items which is on web. If I go here, the profile, no, it's not here. It's somewhere else. I'm not going to show that then. But if I click search, it's going to, by default, you can just pass an array of items you want to search against. And I do want to work on like how it's searching and what are we searching at, and maybe like a function that you can pass of like what items you want to search for inside of this. So we've got like Ada Lovelace, Brian Kernighan, and that those are the items that we are displaying here. And if I do
Well,
search,
if you're just returning an array, surely it's you just return like a model query
yeah,
or something. You know,
yeah.
that's
I don't think people are going to be doing this very much for searching. Actually, I think what most people would do is something like this. They're either going to search like an API or an eloquent query instead. So we have this on search query function. And this is actually doing a, let's delete this. Let's actually come back into it. I think that onload, no, it's not. And that's fine. EST, is that right? Yeah. So this is actually hitting an API endpoint.
Yeah.
So it says JSON placeholder type of code using just HTTP. There's a timeout on it. We're passing in a query string. So that's whatever the needle is. The needle is what we're passing into the search query. So this is taking that that item, we're trimming it. So we're calling it needle. If it's empty string, just return an empty result. So we're not actually doing any searches against anything if it doesn't exist. And then we get these posts. So that's coming back from the query on the API. We have the posts, and then we do a collect. We take 20 items, we map over them, and we make a row. So this is the other way that you can create all of these blade components. Essentially, actually, blade is wrapping these classes. So we're just like, that's what we're doing here. So you can just make a row, pass in class, pass in a on press function, add children into that. So this is actually building out that UI. You have a column with classes, add child with classes, etc. Values to array, and that's how you end up with this UI. So that's a little bit in the right direction, but I think that if you took that another step, you would have something kind of like, is it this one? I mean, it's kind of the same. Yeah, this one, where you're doing kind of the same thing. However, you're mapping over each one of those posts.
Yeah, passing it into a view.
And passing it into a view.
Sense.
And so this search post, oh, that's the wrong place to do that. Search post row is here.
Squid Pro row.
Yep. So like, this is passing those items into a view instead. And now you can render however you want this to look. So like this thing's gray and it's hard to kind of read. So let's make this, a darker gray. And actually I like slate a little better.
It's just using this view though. It's not a component.
Correct. Yeah. Well, I mean, kind of what's the difference?
Well, I'm just thinking like the component has all of the behavior tied to it. So you could, like, there'd be a class for this view.
So like, this would just be then this is kind of still wrapped in the other component.
In that
so this
other component,
open post, right, is just
the
a function
post
here.
on the kind of parent thing.
So actually, that's not. There's a method here someplace. Let's just make one pub open post, and then let's just do like a dialogue alert or something. Hey puppy. Hello. And I think this passes in the post, so you have the post ID.
So you could get the data and stuff from it, but whatever. But
yeah, I'm not going to do all that, but yeah. Hello world. So let's see if that works. Give that a second. Yeah, there you go.
Sweet.
So that's all contained in that component.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is like if we did have where it could reference another component, not just a view file, then you actually have the full sort of gamut of stuff. Like then you get these composable components that you can make and use in different parts of your application, and the behavior and the UI is going to be the same or like consistent. That's going to be so cool, man. This is really good.
Yeah. Want to see another one?
Yeah.
And again,
Always.
this is the one. Stop me if I've already demoed like the navigation groups. Have I shown you that? Have I shown that on stream?
I can't remember.
All right, let's do it. So this is the sync up native. I think I did do this. All right. So this is pretty cool. So everything here is route : native. That's how we're doing each routes. But I can group a bunch of routes together inside of this native group for creating like a hierarchy of a backstack for navigation. So all of these are contained inside of this this native sync up native tabs layout class that I've created. That extends a native layout, and so you can do things like use native Chrome. So you can see, let's go into this one and let's go back. You can see this other one is not using native Chrome. And that's probably like a bad word for this. And I have to see how this plays with Android as well. Give me 1 second here.
Tell what do you mean by, what are you differentiating here between
So
native Chrome and not native Chrome?
In my mind, there's a I look at things like X, right? And I look at the way that all of the navigation, et cetera, kind of works. And it's not liquid glass. So I want users to be able to opt in or out of doing liquid glass. So you can see this one is not liquid glass. This is like your
I can tell you exactly what that is on iOS. They're both the same. Like it's the components are the same under the hood, but you can opt into like post iOS 26 style, which is liquid glass. I can't remember what they call it under the hood, but you can intentionally turn that off so that it still renders in the old way. Or if it's not exactly the same components, it's like you have essentially a build time version check, and you go like, if I'm iOS 26, then I want to do this, and if I'm iOS 18 or below, I want to do that. Yeah, and so you're essentially just kind of, you've created a wrapper for that that's just a simple Boolean value then.
So you can opt in or out for that. And what I like about this is the nav bar. These functions, it just feels very, it kind of is going in the direction of towards like a filament sort of API where you have like, here's your nav bar, or like in filament would be table or form function, and it returns a nav bar, like that has to return this nav bar. Each one of these, so this takes in any of those routes that were inside of that navigation group comes in here as a component, as a screen. So each one of these screens, so we can set this title to have each screen inside of this have a nav title function. So for example, we'll go into any one of these and we'll see that it's got a nav title function. So we can make it whatever we want to here, right? So this is that first one. I think if we adjust that, it's just going to change right here in line. Actually, we're on the friends. Let's go back to this one. And there you go. So you can do that however you want to. You can do all sorts of stuff. I mean, you can kind of let your imagination run wild with what you could do for each of the screens that are coming into this. You can declare a function on each one of those to do all sorts of whatever. There's all sorts of stuff you can do here as well. So I think there's a thing like if you set background color, let's just set this to like, we'll do red again.
Foo. Oh, Andy Newhouse is here.
Andy, what's up, yo?
Hi, everyone.
So
he said hi.
There's our background color, and we can do text color of white. How about a string? Andy?
Love a string. I love a strawberry bootlace. I think you need the hash symbol at the. You know what a strawberry bootlace is? Those like sugar strings that kids get
Yeah, I don't know
on,
what we call
whatever.
them. It's not. Maybe it is. I don't think it's that. Display mode, elevation. There's all sorts of cool, fun things here that you can play with. And
You've got a lot of documentation in your future. I can see, like, I'm hands on my crystal ball right now, just the one,
that's giving
and
me
I can see a lot of documentation in your future.
placeholder string. Yeah, well, it's also fleshing all this stuff out too. I think making sure they're all working because I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So, and also like subtitle isn't working. Some of these do work on Android though, and that's like, it's at what point am I playing with one versus the other and fleshing out a bunch of stuff? Then I have to go back and make sure it's working for the others.
There's something that what is it? I can't remember the name of the tool. There's some tool for like getting all of your like component library together. It's gonna be slightly trickier to do this for native, I think, compared to web, because but what I'm thinking of is we it feels like we almost need a library of visual and documentation elements of this stuff in one place. I know it's like all of this is in, the Material UI and Swift UI, their own docs, but it feels like it would be super useful for us to have the ones that we're packaging up and making available to people through PHP, through this native UI plugin or whatever. Somewhere that we manage, because then it'll be, I don't know, I'm hoping that something like that would make it easier for us to run through and work through, like, where is this quirky between Android and iOS, what's missing, what's not working, and make sure that we could bring it all.
I'll be honest. Those are some of the things too. Like, I can spend so much time on this. I'm really excited. After this call, I'm going to spend a little bit of time on it. My flight to Japan, it's a long flight. I've got 12 hours to sit there and, like, what else am I going to do? I get to Japan, I've got a few days before the show, and like just adding more things and making sure a lot of these things are aligned. It's going to take some time, and I can't do everything. I can't even expect to do everything. I can't think of everything. Even just showing some demos to some people already, they're like, what about this or that? Even you, like, you're like, what about this? And I'm like, right. Like, instead of passing hex values here, why not have like, a Tailwind class? So text color, you could do like green 500 or something, would be nice to do something like that. Yeah, so
Andy says, I like this API, but also like Flux's component API.
So props,
I mean, I guess that's...
Is that what you mean by that? So we do kind of do some of that stuff. So like all of these classes inside of, let's go into one of these, all of these Tailwind classes, you can actually do like items equals 0, like, because that's what this compiles down into, and those mean different things, because it actually gets into binary faster when you do this, but no one wants to write it like that. You know what I mean? Everyone's already used to doing Tailwind, so I'm like, let's just do Tailwind, but it equals that, right? So there's things like that. You can do some props, and but I am curious to see what they mean on the components, the Flux components.
More like how Edge components currently are. I think that is basically, we've got both, Andy. I think that's the answer. Is like we basically, the functional style, kind of chainable.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Because, all right, so
Okay.
and this is great. This is good opportunity. This is the kind of feedback I need, actually. So when you have like your app.blade.php, right? And I don't know, Andy, did you see what I was talking about with these native groups? Did you see that part? And you'll have to tell me what they say.
Maybe not, because, well,
so there's a hierarchy here now.
At the time.
So instead of just having a simple you know, in Blade on your app.blade.php or something, you can have all sorts of different groups that do all sorts of different layouts for what they're doing. And so this whole demo here, each one of these elements, they have potentially different layouts for each one of those things. So here's one I was just showing. Nope, not this one. This. You know, it's got the accessory on the bottom and it's got the search tab and how we're rendering results from the search. And you have, maybe you don't want to show the search icon on some of those views because it doesn't make sense to search from the profile, but it does from the home and all that kind of stuff. So these get very dynamic now. And so when you wrap like a bunch of these routes inside of a group, you set like the hierarchy, like the top class, the uppermost of what that can do. And that's kind of what this next part of the demo, what I'm really getting to is. So you have like all of these views, all of these routes inside of this, they all have this, which creates that backstack. It creates the ability to, like, one knows what state where it is at. You don't have to think about that. It's just built in by default. So we have like messages, friends, profile, right? And you can pass different icons into it. So SF message or material, chat bubble. You can pass a badge. You can have a function coming back from that. So you don't have to worry about like, how do I have to calculate that on every single page load because it's in my app.blade.php? Where do I have to think about this globally someplace or whatever? You could just do it right here and calculate whatever. If this is going out to some API or it's doing an eloquent query or something like that, it's all done right here in line. Same thing, like this is the news indicator. We can just say false or whatever. But where it gets even better, if I go back into messages and I click on this item is this last route. So this is a sync up native chat, and then you pass in some ID and you get that full chat. This sync up native chat allows it, we have the ability then to override a couple things inside of all of these. So this one hides that tab bar. So if I say this is false, it's going to show that tab bar on the bottom again. Wait for it. It didn't work. Never mind. That's broken. But this is true. I could say like, hi, Simon from the nav title. And this is probably the
Hi,
more,
Samanat.
that's what I meant to say. Navigation options. So this allows us to add some of these other components into this. So we've got like where we didn't have any of these. This does nothing here. This allows us to override that. So we've got like a video icon, and you can on press, you can hit some function. That's where these, I clicked it a bunch of times. That's where these alerts are coming from. And then this last one is the ellipses. You pass in like an array of elements. It's going to create this liquid glass menu on iOS. Of course, it's just a regular menu on Android. So you can extend on these, but it keeps track of that backstack. So it knows to go back to this page versus here. If I go back, it's going back to the full demo. If that makes any sense. Which I believe, yes, you can do like Blade components still, but for navigation, I don't think that's the right way to implement this stuff because it is different than web. Number one, it has to be a lot more flexible in these terms. But I do want to know your opinion on that. It's important for me to understand what others might think about this and ways to implement it.
Yeah, Andy's already said it kind of reminds me of Livewire 4's layout attribute. I can't remember ever using that myself, but
so does that mean like, I know there's like this, when you put it on the class,
yeah,
how
it must be
about that?
But that's kind of where I'm going though. It's like ultimately that is it's just using Blade. You know, it's like the Blade rendering stack where it's going to go and look for a view file and using that as the layout file for this particular component. And there's just that layout file is just going to be made up of a bunch of Blade components. So
you could do that. You could, I mean, that's kind of what these are doing. But to me, this is a bit more semantic to show it this way. Like if all of these were like, you know, just free floating, and they could be anywhere inside of my web.php, but each one of them individually said like layout, what is it? This layout is whatever. And we did it like that. we could support that. That's not a far stretch from where we're currently at. Maybe native layout or something like that, right? I just feel like this makes more sense.
I can see the point of the grouping for sure. I don't know if I'm not sure if it's kind of right to bring the view in at the root layer. Like, okay, look at normal Laravel roots. They don't generally. I mean, I know there's root view, which is a convenience, but you generally don't handle views at all on the roots themselves.
Correct, but
You
you
pass
do
that
other
work off to a
things.
controller or some other thing.
Yeah. But it's not just the view. This is determining the backstack, which is not something that you need to think about in web.
Sure.
And you do
So
have things like
you're
middleware
sort of
that does determine
bounding
behavior.
kind of where some of the operating system's natural behaviors are going to go to.
The alternative that I've experimented with, or at least watched a bunch of videos on, is the way that React Native does it, which is file-based routing. So you have like a folder called sync up native or something, and then inside of that there's an underscore layout.tsx file that determines how you want to do, and it's almost the same. There's like nav bar, title bar, and then your options you pass into each one. That's a phone call. Stop. For my personal loan inquiry. And then you have like an index.tsx or whatever that determines your home route and which one gets like when you have the bottom tab bar, which one is actually displayed. You could have the middle one be the one that's actually highlighted initially, and all that kind of stuff, right? So that kind of led me towards this, like what's the Laravel way to do that? And it kind of does remind me a little bit of like a middleware, where they all kind of need this, they all need to know kind of about each other. Well, middleware, you don't need to know about each other, but these do. They need to know the backstack. They need to understand that there's a relationship between all of them. And whether or not it comes in the form of a native group, there's some other things that you could do. I haven't really played with what else you might be able to do with a native group, but there are some other things that you could do when you group these items together. So I would be interested to see.
I 100% believe that this, I mean, not just believe, I know that the way of thinking about screens and like user behavior and expectations around the journey, let's say, that they've gone on through the UI and how they get back out from where they are and what do they intend to do when they're swiping from the left edge of the screen and all of these kinds of things is completely different to the way that it works on the web, where we're just like, you went to this URL and then you went to that URL. And if you go back, it means you go back to the previous URL, like not to some previous screen that, is like in the hierarchy of views, and so we have to think really, really carefully about that in the world of web, right? It's like you don't want people to use the back button because it might not go where they think it's going to go. You want them to use like some UI that you've created, but native kind of takes care of a lot of that for you. There was a tweet that I saw yesterday, which I think is kind of really interesting. Somebody talked about, and I think they were talking about it coming from Apple's own guidelines. Kind of don't take people off to other screens so much. If like what you're trying to get them to do is could be available on the same screen that they're on, then show like a little slide up panel. What are they called? Those little pop over things.
A bottom sheet.
Yeah,
or
the sheets
modal.
and yeah, exactly. Those kinds of, you're sort of keeping people close to the area where they're focused on already, and then it's like it's a different screen if it's a completely different thing that they're trying to do. Like you wouldn't squeeze settings into like a posts screen or an inbox screen, because it's like conceptually they're just very different um, behaviors that you're trying to, or like problems that you're trying to solve as a user. But opening a message from an inbox is then in the same stack like you're showing. And I think like you're on the right, there's definitely the right track there to get that behaving right. I think what it calls for is ultimately with a lot of this stuff now, it's we need to get the feedback from the community about what their expectations are, like
And
how
this is
do they want it to work.
some of that. I do really like the
Yeah,
organization native group over the layout attribute for discoverability. Anytime I look into a new project, I look at the web. It's like the Bible. This is the table of
yep,
contents of the whole app. And so now I can
yep,
see the grouping. And I think that's where
absolutely.
now you could do like arrow, you could do like a native group and then just pass in like a function of routes, right? A function that returns all the routes, and then just arrow layout equals, or maybe call it nav stack or something that's a little bit more,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Um,
yep,
something like that. And then just understanding that each item, each screen inside of that can override the parent. It's just something we have to teach. And I think that it's like that's the kind of the right way. You want some default basic behaviors between the home that all of these views live in or these routes live in,
yep,
and then the ability to override when you want to and break out of it on certain aspects.
yep. And I think this thing with like nav stacks or nav groups or whatever you want to call that is like that. And there's one or two other things that I think are sort of fundamental to native development, which are just so different from what we're used to on the web. It's pushing me. I was being flippant last week, it's like web views suck, but I do think HTML and CSS and JavaScript as a combination is like fundamentally a massive unlock for the whole planet. It's been an incredible technology set, but the web view is is very limited unless you put a lot of work into it on mobile. Um, and on desktop too, but it's less so on desktop. I think it's easier to achieve some of what you're doing inside of a web view. But on mobile, for it to feel like when it's people's fingers are touching the UI, it's a completely different experience. And it needs to feel like they're actually working with it in the way that their brain, this is like we've also built up these behaviors over time. You expect to be able to, you see that back arrow at the top and you expect to be able to swipe back to where you came from in this metaphysical stack that you've got in your head now, because you sort of remembered the journey that you came on to get here, and you feel it when it breaks. Like it happened to me in the Twitter app the other day, and I was like, there's something's not right about how they've programmed this, because I've expected it to do one thing and it's actually done another. And I can't put my finger on what it was now because I wasn't paying enough attention, but it felt wrong at the time. And I was just like, we need to make sure when we're helping everybody else come along towards this native way of doing things, that they understand it and can make the leap. We need to bridge the gap from
Which
web to
so
native.
that brings in the post that we put out yesterday or the day before about DevRel
Yeah.
and looking for
Mhm.
somebody or some people that are interested in helping us shape the
Yeah.
deliverability of the product, right? Helping us shape like how, and I look at Expo has done an amazing job. They have 3 or 4 different people that have done an amazing job at the videos, and like teaching some of these items, and they take it, some videos are 15-20 minutes, some of them are just 2 or 3 minutes to just show like little highlights of things, and like
Yeah.
this is how you interface with this element. And this is what the options currently are. This is the status. It's in alpha, beta, or it's released, or new in this version. We have the ability now to do X. And
Yeah.
somebody that understands where we're at, where we're going ultimately with this, and is willing to chip in and drive some of that forward. We just kind of don't have the time. We clearly we don't, because our desire is to do these ourselves, but we are so in the trenches of getting it created that we don't have the time to also set up our camera, light, studio, and hit record and then edit. You know what I mean? So
I also partly think we shouldn't, like you don't see the
Zuckerberg
CEO
pitching
exactly
React
like,
Native to anybody.
yeah, this is what we can do in React Native.
Yeah.
You don't, but even on a smaller scale, like look at the Expo team, you
Mhm.
know, you don't see the CEO of Expo coming on and doing those kinds of videos. And that's not to say like it's a different organization, they're at a different level and
They're
all of
well
this kind of
funded and
thing.
they've got other bigger fish to fry and all that stuff.
But
We'll get
it is
there.
well, this is it. It's also like that is how you get there.
That's right. We
We
won't
have
get
to
there until we get
delegate.
this in place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have to be able to step away from this stuff
correct.
and focus on other things. And yeah, if we don't start doing that, then we'll never get to that point. And the project deserves it. Like I think that's the fundamental. Despite all of the things that we see happening, this thing is still growing, and we need to steer it in the right direction. So we've got to step back from some of that stuff. Anyway, that's a whole other thing, and we're way over time. And I'm conscious of we've got another call.
Nah. Oh, we do?
Yeah.
When?
Maybe it's actually later than I thought. Oh no, it's not. It's in like 12 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, we need to start wrapping things up. But I was just gonna say, yeah, we don't forget we've got two sponsors now for this episode.
Who?
Bifrost is one.
There you
Bifrost
go. There you
is
go.
the build service for your native PHP apps. You can go and check it out at bifrost.nativephp.com. Please check out Bifrost. That helps us. Your subscriptions fund the ongoing development of Bifrost and native PHP and all of the other things. We've also got native PHP Ultra. Ultra is what our subscriptions have become, licenses. They're not licenses anymore. You can get access to all of the first party plugins and have your team on there as well. So it's very good, from $35 a month, which is damn cheap for all of the stuff that we've got in there. So go nativephp.com/ultra.
I'm going to leave with a testimonial.
Oh, another one.
There's a guy that's been talking to me since the first week before we ever released. Like the first week I even started playing with any of them. Probably my first tweet. And I don't even know his real name. I probably should learn that. A.it. He's in Italy. And he's been talking to me every like bigger announcement thing that we come out with. So he asked, like I put a tweet out the other day. He sent me a link to my own tweet. He's like, is this on inside of the Super Native repo? And I said, yep. 5 minutes later, he responds, mind blowing, all caps is the word.
Nice.
He pointed out a couple inconsistencies on Android, but he said overall 100, 100, 100. Every test performed on Super Native makes me want to ship a brand new app. Look and feel is mesmerizing. Thinking that under the hood is PHP. 3 giant heart eye emojis. Unbelievable. So that made me feel good. I want to send those feel goods to you a bit and the rest of the community.
Yeah.
This is where we're going. This is where we've been wanting to go the whole time. The fact that we can now say, Reddit, suck it. We are full native. This full PHP. Yeah, but it's still just WebView. Yeah, but it's free and it's not WebView. It's full native and it's free. So there you go, world. There's my some major contributions. I feel like we did something huge for PHP for mobile for the future. That's it. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, that's it. I haven't got anything else either. And I know that lots and lots of people are going to be very happy with Super Native. So good job, dude. It's
Thanks.
really coming together. So we should just get the docs. We should try and get some of the docs started and out there and slap a little. This is alpha or something on the
and
top.
get it out.
Yeah.
There's some more stuff that we can do now with Jump Out being out too, for previews and all sorts of stuff. And it's not public yet, but I did get the Super Native Laravel app that I've just been demoing on test flight with Bifrost in a 3-minute build with like no issues. And it's out. Like, so we'll probably make that public and put it at least in our Discord. Join our Discord. If you're not in, we'll make an announcement and link to the test flight, because that's not going to get published in the actual app store. We'll get just through test flight. 10,000 people can use it. It's just a demo. But we also can put that on a Ford server, and you can scan the QR code with Jump and do everything from Jump as well. Once we get Jump caught up to speed with all of the Super Native, and that takes finalizing the API. So
yeah,
some work to do there.
So many things to do.
I know.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Love you. Bye. Let's play this intro angry. Outro. We'll call it the outro. Angry outro.
Outro angry. Ooh.
All right. Here we go. See you guys. See you guys in a few weeks. It's going to be a while. Peace.
Oh, yeah. We're not here
All you
next
gotta
week.
do is just. All you gotta do is just. All you gotta do is just. No, baby, you know you ready. 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 All you gotta do is just. No, baby, you know you ready. 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 All you gotta do is just.